Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be going through all the books that I am hopefully going to be reading in July. So I'm going to start by going through how my reading went in June, and the answer is actually not too bad. So in June I was taking part in Whatever-You-Want-A-Thon, which is a readathon that's hosted by Maddie from Book Browsing Blog. I will leave a link to all of the readathon information in the description, just in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I was on team Beach Readers and I pledged 8 books, which I did end up reading. So at the time that I'm filming this, it's a few days before the end of the month, and I have read exactly 8 books, and I'm also halfway through another book which I should finish in the next couple of days. So pretty happy with how my reading has gone in June, and I'm hoping that July is going to be just as productive, because there are a few vlogs that I'd like to try and film in July, and obviously I have to read the books to be able to do those vlogs. It's going to be busy, but also I'm really excited about the vlogs that I do have planned for next month. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and get into the video, but if this is the first time that you're watching one of my TBR game videos, then I will leave a link to the playlist in the description, just in case you wanted to watch from the beginning. But otherwise, let's go with rule number 1. Okay, so here we go, rule number 1, which is 1, great start, and that's fantasy. So as you will have seen, for rule number 1, we landed on fantasy, and for this I'm going to be reading Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb, which is book 1 in the Live Ship Traders trilogy. This is also the second series within the Realm of the Outlings series. So the Realm of the Outlings is this very long series that's broken down into mini-series, and I read the Farseer trilogy last year and liked it but didn't love it, or what I should say is that I liked the first 2 books and then I didn't like the 3rd book. So I've been a little bit nervous about this, even though I know that it's very different because it follows different characters and it's set in a completely different part of the world, and also I think this is 3rd person multi-POV, whereas the first trilogy is single person, 1st person POV. I'm hoping that I've explained that right. But yeah, I am excited to continue this series because I've heard that this is one of the best mini-series within the Realm of the Outlings. It basically follows a shipping family, so within this world there are these live ships, which are basically what it sounds like, so they're ships that are alive, and I think we follow members of this one family who owns one of these live ships. One thing I do really like about this series is the atmosphere and the writing style, and how the writing style matches the atmosphere. So the setting of this world feels very Old English to me. It's very character driven and it's very slow paced. I think it's a little bit too slow paced for my personal taste, but I've heard that there's more exploration of the magic system in this series, which is what I really liked about the first trilogy. I really liked the magic systems in the first trilogy, so hopefully I will enjoy it. It is quite a chunky one. I think it's over 800 pages. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's nearly 900 pages. So my plan is to start reading this physically and then alternate between the paperback and the audiobook, because the audiobooks are available on Scribd. Rule number 2 is another one, great, and that's a thriller. So rule number 2 landed on thriller, and for this I am going to be reading one of these 4 books. So I currently have these 4 books at the library, and I don't know which I want to read most. I mean, I want to read all of them. Hopefully I will read more than one of these in July, because I've been excited about all of them. But basically I had this idea of doing a try a chapter challenge where I read the first chapters of all of these books and then just pick one to read based on that first chapter, and see if it does end up being like a 5 stars or something like that, and seeing if we can predict how much we're going to enjoy a book based on the first chapter. I feel like thrillers are a really good genre to do try a chapter challenges with, because sometimes I'll read the first chapter of a thriller and I'll love it, but then I get into the book and it just all goes downhill. So I will be reading one of these books at some point in July, hopefully more than one of them. I should probably tell you actually what the books are. So we have here Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware, Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier, and Sleepless by Romy Hausman. So I have read books by 3 of these authors before. I've never read anything by Karen Slaughter before though. I've heard that this is quite graphic, so it's probably the one that I'm most scared of, but hopefully I will enjoy whichever book out of these I decide to read. Roll number 3 is, oh my god, another one, which is romance. Roll number 3 landed on romance, and honestly at this point I was getting a little bit nervous because we kept getting really low numbers and I was scared that I was going to end up with a huge TBR again. But yeah, for romance I am going to be reading The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. So I have read a book by Christina Lauren before. I read their Christmas book, what was it called? Inner Holidays. I read that in December and felt kind of meh about it. It was okay. I listened to the audiobook, which probably didn't help because I wasn't the biggest fan of the narration, but I know that Christina Lauren are really popular, so I would like to try more of their books, and I've heard a lot of people say that The Honeymooners is one of their best books. I think this is about 2 people whose siblings get married and they're the only people at this wedding who don't get food poisoning, so they end up going on the honeymoon together because everyone else is too sick to go. And then I'm guessing that there's romance because it's a romance book. But I am going to be buddy reading this with Helen from Helen's Bookhaven, and I'm excited to see what we think of it. Roll number 4 is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is another romance. So roll number 4 landed on romance again, and for this I'm going to be reading Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I have read another book by this author. I read Punk 57 back in 2020, I think it was, or it might have been last year. But I really liked the writing in Punk 57, even though I didn't like the romance. The romance was a little bit toxic, and I know that that was the point of the book because it's a bully romance, but I realised that bully romances probably aren't for me. However, I have high hopes for Birthday Girl. All I know about the plot for this is that it's about a girl whose boyfriend is a bit of a dick, and she's out one day and she meets this older guy who she has a lot of chemistry with and she starts chatting to, and then it turns out that this guy is actually her boyfriend's dad. So it's like an age gap taboo romance, and I didn't think the age gap romances would be my kind of thing, but I read an age gap romance recently that I did really enjoy, so I think that there is potential for me to like this too. Also, I know that this is available on Kindle Unlimited, and I've literally just restarted my subscription because Amazon were doing an offer actually where if you're on Prime then you could get 3 months KU for free, so I want to take advantage of that. Okay, so hopefully this is going to be another higher number, and it's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is thriller. So roll number 5 landed on thriller, and for this I'm going to be reading Bullet Train by Kotaro Isaka. All I know about this book is that it was originally published in Japanese, and it's also currently being adapted into a movie that I think comes out in August or later this summer, and I really want to watch the movie, so I thought I would read the book first and hopefully I'll like it. The tagline basically says 5 killers, 1 journey, but who will survive? So it's about these 5 killers who board a train in Tokyo and they're on this journey somewhere, and I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of mystery, maybe? I'm guessing that this is going to be very fast paced and there's going to be lots of action, and I am excited to learn more because there's really not a lot to go off from the blurb, but I bought this one quite recently when I went to Hey on Why, so I'm excited that I'm getting around to it already. I feel like this is roll number 6 and it's a 3. 1, 2, 3, which is a fantasy. So roll number 6 landed on fantasy, and for this I really want to read Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. So all I know about this book is that everyone seems to love it, but also it's a very cozy fantasy fantasy with very low stakes, and I think it's about an orc who opens a coffee shop. I think that's what it's about. It's more the vibes that have attracted me to this book, because everyone I know who's read this book has said that it's just the perfect fantasy palate cleanser and that it is just like a warm hug, and I feel like I really need that in my fantasy right now. I actually think of all the books on my TBR this month, this is the one that I'm most excited for. It has a really high average rating on Goodreads, so if I don't like it, I'm gonna be really upset. Okay, so hopefully this is gonna be the last roll, and it is, it's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so those are the 6 books that I am hopefully gonna be reading in July. I am so relieved that we got some higher rolls towards the end, because I was a little bit nervous at the start of the game that I was gonna end up with a massive TBR, but 6 books is definitely manageable. So yeah, I am out of breath. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye!